Hello, this is a little guide on how to use the 1 in 10,000 Foxy Jumpscare mod. And now you can like make your own custom jump scares and yeah, let's just do it. First, we're gonna need to install the mod first. You probably have it installed already, but I just want to show how to install it in this video also because I have G3M open, which is like a game maker mod manager for game maker games, and Deltarune is a game maker game, so it applies. Um, I'm gonna remove the Foxy mod just so I can like show you the install process. So I click the Add Mod button here, then Import Mod, choose File, and I have the package in my downloads already, so I press Open, and it's been imported. And yeah, and once the mod has been imported, I could go and add more mods if I want, but this is the only mod I need for today. So I'm gonna launch the game. It's gonna apply the patches for each chapter. And now that the game is running, you'll notice there is a. I forgot I did that. um, okay, so in the top left corner, there is a prompt that will ask you to press the F3 button to open the custom jump scare menu. Now, if I hold the button, I will appear in this menu right here. And as you can see, there's a little menu system for putting settings and different actions. But this is the default folder right now that I have opened. So I can't change anything in the default folder. I can't change anything here. So if I want to change some settings, I will need to create a new folder. And there's some text on the screen right now that tells you that, oh, if you want to make a custom jump scare, you have to press F8. So once I press F8, I have this little thing open, and I essentially have two options. I can either create a new folder, which is what I want to do, or I can open a folder I already made. Um, all the folders that exist already in the game's save folder is on the right here. As you can see, there's a few folders there that I have made previously, just to test the program. But right now I just want to create a new folder. So and to do that, I just have to type a name that doesn't exist already. Because if I type, let's say, custom, which exists already, it's just going to open the custom folder. But if I were to say, let's say, new test, for example, that doesn't exist, so it will create a new folder. So, but now I'm going to put the name, let's say, settings, or no, I'm going to say my settings. And this, and now that I've pressed enter, I've created a new folder, and now I can change all the settings here. So I will not be going over every single setting in the mod, because there's a description for each one as well as a minimum maximum. So for example, the interval, it can be like at 500 seconds, but I can put it at 0 seconds, but if I put it, say, minus 10 seconds, it's not going to let me because 0 seconds is the minimum. I'm going to put it back to 1 second. Let's say for the odds, if I want to be a 1 in 1,000 chance instead of 1 in 10,000, I can just press enter and type 1,000, and it's going to accept it. If I were to put a negative value, it will not accept it because the minimum is 1, and 1 essentially means 100% guarantee that it will jump scare you. But if I put it in 1,000, it's a 1 in 1,000 chance of it jump scaring me. And like I said, there's a bunch of other options like the volume, if the jump scare will kill you in the game, if the mod is even enabled in the first place. So yeah, there's a bunch of different settings. And yeah, that's the basic settings. Now we'll move over to importing your own sprite, so you can have your own custom jump scare. So instead of having Foxy jump scaring you, it can be, let's say, Mangle, which it will be today's example. But it can be like any sprite that you have, any image or any frames. So now we're gonna create a new folder called Mangle, and this will be my Mangle folder with my Mangle sprites. I'm gonna put the volume to 50% for myself. Now, there are 3 ways you can import your own custom jump scare sprite into the mod. One is by importing a zip file that contains each frame, which is what I'll be doing now. And there's you can import each frame individually, which I'll do later for a different mod or different jump scare. And there is the third way, which is just go into the game's save folder directly to then import your frames there. I'm not going to be showing off that, but it is possible. You can just import the frames directly through the file system. You don't have to do it through here. It's just easier to do it through here. Now, if I want a zip file that contains each frame of my jump scare, I will need to convert my GIF that I have downloaded into a zip file that contains each frame. And there's a really easy way to do that, and it's with a website called easygif.com. If I go to the website here and then press the split tab, there is a GIF frame extractor, which is essentially what we need. All you gotta do is import your GIF into this, into here, upload it, and then extract the frames into a zip file, which is really easy. So I'm gonna click browse. I'm going to select my Mangle Jumpscare. This is a WebP file, but it's gonna work the same. It's gonna treat it like a GIF. So I'm gonna select it. I'm gonna upload it. And yeah, there's my jump scare. Now, if I output it to a PNG, because PNG is just more simple and it's the default, so why bother changing it? I have all my frames here, all the frames, and now I can download the frames as zip. Now I'm gonna give it a name, say Mangle Jumpscare. It's downloading right now, and once that's downloaded, I can go into my game and then press F5. So yeah, in the bottom left, there's a bunch of prompts that tells you, oh, press this button to do this thing. So yeah, when I press F5, I can select a zip file, which is the one that has my frames. But before I open it, I just want to show you what it looks like inside. Yeah, so see all these these images? Yeah, these are all my frames, and as long as it's numbered correctly like this, it doesn't matter how it's called, as long as it's ordered correctly, it will import it just fine. So yeah, once I do mangle jumpscare.zip, I click open. And now, if I'm going to lower the volume a bit, and then once I press space to preview my jump scare, you'll see that the sprite importing has worked. That's my mangle jump scare. And now, if I'm going to lower the odds a bit so you can actually see it. There's going to be mangle jump scaring me now instead of Foxy. There you go. There is another option you can do, that's importing your own custom sound. But I'll be showing that alongside importing a frame individually. So I'm going to create a new folder called Sibbles. First thing I'm going to do is import my own a frame individually. I'm going to press F6. And now it's asking me to import a frame of my choice. I'm going to import the Sibbles plush.png that I have installed. And the thing with importing a frame individually is it's not going to update automatically. If I were to press space now, it's still the Foxy jump scare. So if I want my sprite to, my jump scare sprite to actually appear, I have to press F4, it's going to refresh, and now it only appears for one frame because it's one image, but now my Sibbles image is appearing. And now if I were to import my own sound, I have to press F7, and I'm going to select my OGG file, which is, you need an OGG file for it to actually work. So once I press open, and there we go, now I'm going to press space, and now there's my own custom sound for the jump scare. Now, as you may have noticed, that the jump scare only appears for one frame, and to fix that, we'll go into the custom tab. And as you can see, there is a held frames option which tells you, how long the image will stay on the screen. If you set to say 60 frames, it's going to stay on the screen for say 2 seconds, because 1 second in Deltarune is 30 frames. But you can also just set it to -1, and when you set it to -1, it will interpret it as that stay on the screen as long as the sound is still playing. So if I were to press space, yeah, now the image stays for the entire time. But you might have noticed that the image is stretched. This is because of the stretch fit option, which is on by default. Usually you wouldn't need to worry about that option because with the Mango and Foxy Jumpscare, it worked perfectly fine. You didn't even realize it was a problem. But because my image is a square instead of a 4:3 aspect ratio, which is the aspect ratio of Deltarune, my image is stretched. And if you want to fix that, just turn the setting off. And now we can encounter a new problem, which is that the image is really big. It covers the entire screen. And of course, the solution is going into the movement tab. And this has like a bunch of other settings that I can change. For example, I can go into the scale start, which is what I'm looking for. And I want my image to be smaller from the start. So I'm going to set it to say 35%. Oops, 35%. And when I press space, now it's a much more reasonable size. So yeah, these are a bunch of the settings you can do to change the behavior of the jump scare. If you want it to stay still at the center, you don't really need to change any of this except maybe the size, the scale. But if you want, for example, a skeleton running across the screen, this is really useful, and I'll show you how useful this is. I'm gonna create a new folder again called skeleton, and I'm gonna have to go back on easygif.com to get a zip file. This time I'm gonna import a GIF. Upload, split the frames. Actually, I'm gonna change the output format to PNG because it will work with GIF as the output format, but I just prefer PNG. It's just personal preference. So I'm gonna do skeleton run.zip. I'm gonna go back to the game. I'm gonna press F5 to import my zip. Skeleton run, and I'm gonna set the volume to 0% because I don't want any sound. I'm gonna go into the custom to change the stretch fit. So it's actually I'm gonna change the image speed to be a little faster. I'm gonna set it to -1 so it loops continuously until the sound stops playing. But the sound is at 0%, so you can't really hear it. Doesn't matter. And I'm gonna set it to position X start to be at -50, so it's off screen. And I'm gonna put the X speed say with 250%. So now there's a skeleton running across the screen. Isn't that just a bit funny? I'm gonna set it so if I put the X start to 0%, you'll see it's like right there. And if I put say -20%, it's like barely off screen. Yeah, and I'm gonna put the settings back, and yeah, now I have my mod where a skeleton runs across the screen instead of a Foxy jump scaring you. That's why I have all these options here. It's just to allow you to make really weird stuff like this. I'm a big fan of this. And that's essentially all you need to know about the mod. Because once you press F3, hold F3 to exit the menu, you can go to any of these chapters, and you will be jump scared. It's all gonna work as you set it to be. So if I were to set my, say, 1 in 10 chance every second, and go into like chapter 1, for example, you'll shortly see that a skeleton will run past my screen. It is a 1 in 10 chance, which is there we go. That didn't take too long. So yeah, that's essentially all you need to know to make your own jump scare. And now,
how old are you?
I'm old.
You are the oldest person ever.
So I remember seeing one of the YouTube comments on the trailer video of the Foxy Jumpscare mod, that they wanted a version where Tenna runs towards you. Because of how flexible this mod is, you can do that. So I'm just gonna show you how to do it right here. I'm gonna type Tenna_run. That will be my mod. The settings will be reset. I'm gonna need to go back to easygif.com to again split my GIF. The Tenna Deltarune run GIF. Upload. Split the frames. Download the zip. tenna_run. These are in GIF format, but that should be fine because again, whether it's GIF or PNG, it's basically the same thing to this mod. It doesn't really change anything. I'm gonna do tenna_run.zip. I'm gonna lower the volume because I don't want my ears to be blasted. Again, I'm gonna have to change some settings because by default the image is a bit wacky. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna change the scale to 0% at the start and then 250% scale speed. And as you can see, it's a pretty slow, but if I make it a bit faster, Tenna will just be running towards my screen. Hang on. And if I make it the Y speed to be a bit down, like that's a bit too down. Too down again. Yeah. And that's essentially how you make your own custom jump scare. It's really that quick. I could go here and like make it a little bit faster. Yeah, that's essentially how you can make your own jump scare. It's really that easy. Hi, so in the middle of editing this video, I realized that I should add a package importing feature because that would be like really nice and convenient. So that's what I did. I'm gonna open the game. I'm gonna go into the mod menu and let's say I'm gonna press Control I, and now I have this tenna_pack zip file, which is just the tenna jump scare that I made earlier. So I'm gonna select it and press Open, and yep, it's imported. And now I want to press OK. It's gonna show it in the folder selection screen that I showed earlier. And I'm gonna press Enter, and now it's selected, and I press Space, and it works. I can also now, if there's a folder that exists already in the save data, and I import a folder of the same name, it's not gonna break. I can just press open and it's gonna say, oh, tenna_pack_1. It just adds a little number at the end to make it a bit different. And now there's two different tenna packs. And if I were to import a zip file that is just completely random, for example, the geometry package and doesn't work, and it's gonna say, oh, this is not a Foxy package, aborting. It's gonna delete the thing, and it's as if you did nothing. When I press F8, yeah, it's basically the same thing as earlier. And the only thing is you cannot make a custom jump scare zip file through the game because Deltarune doesn't have like a function to create a zip file, unfortunately. Yeah. You can't just go in your local app data, go in your folder, and then let's say you take the skeleton folder and just select both and create a zip file from there. So you can still create one, it's just not convenient. You can't just do it through the mod. You have to like go into the files. But at least you can import stuff at least. That's nice. There's probably going to be an update later in the future that might change some descriptions and some minimums and maximums to make it more flexible, but that's essentially all you need. That's essentially the entire process of making your own custom jump scare. And it's like really quick, really easy. And once that's done, I can just quit, play the game normally, and before I know it, by the time I forget that there's a jump scare, I'm gonna get jump scared. Because there's a 1 in 10,000 chance every second. It's rare, but not zero. Alright, now that that's done, I hope you enjoy making your own little Deltarune mod. Oh yeah, I forgot that I used geometry. Yeah. Have fun. I'm gonna play Dandy's World now.